Hello everyone and welcome to Bevins Builds, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my 1-month review of my Starlink satellite system, complete with kilowatt hour readings, power factor, and all that good stuff as well. So if this is something that interests you, stick around because it's coming up. Okay, jumping right into my review and thoughts on this particular product, which is the Starlink satellite system. I personally think it's an amazing system, especially if you're someone like me that lives out in a very rural area and your only other choices are places like HughesNet and Viasat, because they are both just absolutely horrible services. Starlink is absolutely amazing. You will not regret getting it. But let me tell you kind of real quickly, because I'm going to try and keep the video as short as possible, some of my experiences with my Starlink satellite system. First things first, because I know this is the most common question everybody wants to know. Can you play video games with it? Yes. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When I say you can play video games with it, I'm referring to games like Roblox or Minecraft or even World of Warcraft. Those are all games that work really well with the Starlink satellite system. Now, if you're a first-person shooter person, yes, this will work for first-person shooter games as well. But I do want to relay to you, and again, I am only a beta tester. This is not something that's available to the public everywhere just yet. So, a really good review about that will be when it's finally open and available to everybody. But currently, for those of you that do first-person shooter type games, I think you'll be happy to know, if you've never been able to play anything like that before online, yes, it is playable, but expect to experience some lag. And by saying that, yes, you're probably going to have a few lag deaths here and there. Still, all in all, like I said, in the past, it was never even possible to even attempt to play a first-person shooter game with services like I said, like Viasat and HughesNet. So will this work? Yes, it will, but just know that you will experience, and from my experience, the noticeable lag anyway, is about every 30 to 45 minutes, we'll say, roughly. And you'll experience like a 5 count or a 5-second drop where it drops out and then it drops back in, where you would experience that lag death. But the typical first-person shooter type game, I mean, they don't last very long anyway. So as long as you're in between one of those drop points, we'll call it, first-person shooter games are possible. Just know that you are going to experience some lag at some point during the games. So it will frustrate some people, but at the same time, at least now you can finally play video games and live in the country. Because like I said, prior to me getting Starlink, that was not even a possibility. Now, the next thing I want to point out is, because myself, I have, it's me, my wife, and I have 3 kids, and everybody uses the satellite. So have I had any problems with multiple usage? Not really. The one thing that we mainly use our Starlink system for, and mind you, I have 2 systems. I have one in my garage, primarily just for me making videos and uploading things. But then I have another one in the house as well, and that's what my wife and kids actually use. But the point that I want to bring up is streaming services. When I mean streaming services, Disney Plus, Netflix, HBO Max, Hulu, those types of services. With HughesNet and Viasat, I always had a very big problem trying to stream and watch movies. I could never, it was always buffering, and if more than one person was trying to watch a movie at the same time in the house, it wasn't possible. It was just something that you just can't do it. Everybody has to agree that we're going to watch a movie at a certain time, and that's it. And even during that, it would usually buffer. Where with Starlink, I've never noticed any buffering at all on any of my movies that I've watched. And again, I have been doing this for 30 days. I've been pushing my systems as much as I can for 30 days. I have another channel that I stream Lego and stuff on, and I have been streaming in the highest quality it'll let me for the last 30 days. Now, with my live streams with the satellite system, I can tell you that it is usable, but typically, again, every 30 to 40 minutes, you're going to notice a drop. And there is little bits of lag periodically throughout the live streams and such. And if you want to check any of that out, all you got to do, well, as a matter of fact, I think right here, there should be a link that actually pops up. And what that link will be is a link to one of my live streams, just so you can visibly see the kind of lag I've been experiencing myself streaming with my Starlink satellite. But all in all, I think it's an amazing system, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I think you all will be too. Now, the next thing, because I've had a lot of people ask me questions in regards to kilowatt hours and power factor and things of that nature. So I went out and bought one of these little kilowatt meters. Now, this is an inexpensive meter. It was only $34. And the cool thing about this meter, though, is it does display 8 units of measurement. It displays voltage, current, watts, kilowatt hours, frequency, volt amps, power factor, and the elapsed amount of time that you've had any particular product plugged into it. So with that being said, I want to take you guys over to look at the unit itself, because I don't want you to just to hear me ramble off numbers. I want you to physically see those numbers so you know what the numbers are and what they mean for people like, because most of the questions I've been getting asked from were from people that are on, for example, solar power, and that is a concern to them, is the wattage and things of that nature that are being used to affect their solar power system. So anyway, let's take a quick look at that. But anyway, I'm starting with volts. So here we have 123.7 volts. Then you can see the amperage, and we have 0.68 amps. We have 87.6 watts. We have 89.1 volt amps. We have 60 hertz, which is a constant. We have a power factor of 0.98. And the kilowatt hours are 44.06. And the other great thing is, just to show you how long I've been using this, I've had this plugged in for 479 hours. With that being said, it's basically been plugged in for only 20 days. Now, I wish I could have done a full 30-day review on this, but sadly, it was a question that was brought up after I posted my video, so it took me about a week to actually find a decent kilowatt meter to give you those readings. So again, the readings that I'm giving you are over a 20-day period. But again, to me, I think the readings are good, and for those of you that are interested in all these readings, now you have them. So now that you've seen all the information, again, my personal opinion from 30 days of usage, absolutely amazing. But again, my only services prior to that was Frontier with like a 2 megabit download speed, which was horrible. Then I went to HughesNet, is absolute joke. Then I went to Viasat, another absolute joke. And now I finally have well, actually, I take that back, because I did try AT&T's service, AT&T's wireless service as well. That was the best service that I had tried prior to Starlink. But Starlink is blowing my AT&T wireless internet out of the water, because my best download speeds on my AT&T wireless was generally anywhere from 15 to 20 megabits per second, where Starlink, I consistently, I'd say pretty consistently, I'm usually over at least 80 megabits download speeds. And my uploads are usually around 5 to 10 megabits for uploads. So still extremely, extremely happy with this system. I mean, I could not be happier. For living in a rural area, this is by far the best internet I've ever seen. My only concerns are, over the last week, I will say I've noticed an increase in some of the lag experience that I have been experiencing during my live streams. And I kind of find that puzzling, because they just launched 60 satellites into the air. But I'm hoping it's just a small blip and they're trying to get those satellites aligned and everything. So I'm hoping that will go away. But the first 3 weeks, absolutely amazed. This last, we'll say 6 to 7 days, I've noticed a little bit of an increase in lag, but still blown away and beyond happy with the system so far, especially when you're considering it to places like I said, HughesNet, Frontier, Viasat, because those are all just garbage systems. So my overall review of this is, if you can get it, jump on it, because if you live in a rural area like me, you will not, and I mean you will not be disappointed with this system. And I think that about sums everything up. But real quickly, if you had any other questions as far as the installation, real quickly, I can tell you it comes with a 100-foot cable. Don't mess with the antenna. It is it is heated. There's a bunch of other little information that you may want to know about it, but I will have a link right here above my head for the initial video that I got when I first got it and installed it. And most of the information that I didn't cover in this video, you will find in that video there. So if you're looking for more information, check that one out as well. But anyway, that is it for this video. So as always, thank you for coming to Bevins Builds. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share below. And hopefully we'll see you next time on Bevins Builds.